Scannell. Appreciate it. I want to go deeper on this. Two CNN legal analysts, Paul Callan joins us, and Shan Wu as well. Shan, looking at the New York case first, what do you make of these charges?
Very unusual. I expect a very robust defense by Avenatti, claiming he was just zealously representing his client and trying to get a settlement. It sounds like he's asking for hush money, not necessarily illegal, and he's familiar with that kind of case.
So wait, it's not illegal to ask for hush money?
Well, when we talk about it as hush money, it sounds more illegal. But when you reach a settlement, there's usually a non-disclosure clause and a non-disparagement clause. And that's basically the equivalent of being paid to be quiet in the future.
Paul, how strong do you think these charges are? The federal prosecutor's case, the New York case, does Avenatti saying things like, I'll go take $10 billion off your client's market cap? Does that go beyond, a normal lawyer, in a tough negotiation?
Well, the U.S. Attorney for Manhattan, Anderson, called this the use of a law license as a weapon of extortion. And the claim is that Avenatti was claiming that he had to be paid as much as $25 million not to give a press conference, which would have embarrassed Nike. But it is an unusual set of charges in New York. I have to think, by the way, that his California case might be even more serious and possess a greater danger to Avenatti.
Why is that?
Well, the California charges allege that he embezzled $1.6 million from one of his clients, and he took that money and he used it to fund his law firm and a coffee company that apparently was having financial problems during that time period. In addition, he borrowed $4.1 million from a Mississippi bank using fraudulent copies of tax returns. Now, in these tax returns, he claimed that he had made multi-millions of dollars per year. In fact, federal prosecutors say for several years he didn't even file federal tax returns, and he never made the amount of money that he claimed. When you put all of those things together, federal prosecutors say he faces 50 years in prison as a maximum sentence in California. So those are dangerous charges for him.
Yeah, Shan, the unnamed co-conspirator referred to in the complaint, said to be Mark Geragos, who, again, was a CNN contributor, no longer is as of today. What role do you think he could have had in all of this? Because at this point, he hasn't been charged with any crime.
Very interesting he was not charged. It's generally frowned upon to use this unindicted co-conspirator idea. We're familiar with it from Nixon, and of course President Trump's been talked about in that realm as well, because the person doesn't really get a chance to defend themselves in court. They're not actually indicted. It sounds to me like Geragos may have been a co-counsel or also working on the matter legally with Avenatti. The question is, why is he not indicted? This immunity is a possibility, or perhaps they feel the evidence against him is a little bit more ambiguous. Very extraordinary to have two attorneys being charged in a case where the two of them can both argue that they're representing clients.
Shan, if he got immunity, and again, we don't know, what would that indicate? That he was cooperating?
Yes, that would indicate that he was cooperating, and that the prosecutors would value that cooperation a lot in order to give him the immunity.
So cooperating, would that be sort of while the investigation, would it be afterward or while the investigation was going on, or both?
It could be both. It would be both. It's hard to know right now.
Paul, it's obviously a remarkable turn of events given sort of how Michael Avenatti came into the spotlight, the allegations he was making against Michael Cohen and others. If true, you said this is for both. Is it 50 years for both if you're adding up both indictments?
No, actually, Anderson, the California federal prosecutor said the statutory maximum for the charges he was facing in California was 50 years. Now, of course, that doesn't mean he'll get 50 years. However, on top of that, you would have the New York charges. So that's the maximum sentence he would face. He wouldn't get a sentence that high, but this is a very serious charge that, if convicted, he would go to prison for these charges almost certainly.
Yeah, well, obviously continue to follow it. Paul Callan, thank you. Shan Wu as well.